Oh my God! Oh.
Lois Griffin might just be the worst wife in television history. We're talking cheating, stealing, and even hypnotizing Peter into doing things he didn't agree to.
There you go. Get it all out.
If you thought Peter was the problem in this marriage, just wait until you see what Lois gets away with. We're counting down times Lois proved she's a terrible wife. Let's start the show. You'd think after decades of marriage, Lois would just accept Peter for the lovable idiot he is, but nope. In season 21, episode 4, she drags him to a therapist looking for a little extra spice in the bedroom. Nothing says I love you like hypnotizing your husband into performing better. It all starts the night before, when Peter and Lois go to this cheesy his and hers restaurant. Instead of having a normal conversation, they loudly announce what they'll be doing later.
When we get home, let's do it so loud the kids wake up.
The next day, Lois gossips with her friends about the date night, but dances around the part we all know she's really thinking about.
How was the pork?
Bonnie suggests therapy because clearly Peter needs professional help just to function as a husband. At the therapist's office, Peter is so uncomfortable he literally hides behind a painting. The therapist decides hypnosis is the answer, giving Peter a trigger word to perform whenever Lois says it. Totally healthy marriage behavior. But of course, Peter's brain wires itself wrong. When the therapist tries to finish the hypnosis, his phone buzzes with a notification.
We are now in our suspended state. And from now on, whenever you hear the words extra, extra.
Later that night, Lois tries the trigger word.
Well, we tried.
Sorry, Lois.
Peter sulks off, but then disaster strikes. He hears the extra TV jingle, and that becomes his trigger. Suddenly, Peter's down to business faster than Amazon Prime. Lois is thrilled. She finally gets her amazing night, while Peter doesn't remember a thing. Honestly, that sounds like a win for him, but Lois can't resist pushing it further. She starts abusing the jingle.
Wow, Mom and Dad have sure been watching a lot of entertainment television.
Yahtzee!
And then comes the nightmare fuel. During dinner at the Peterschmidts, Lois asks Peter to grab a plate upstairs. The TV in the other room plays the extra jingle, and Peter's programming kicks in. Lois races upstairs only to unleash the most horrific scream in the series.
Peter!
Whatever happened up there? Well, let's just say that entire mansion now needs a priest. And if you thought mind controlling your husband was bad, Lois's next stunt turns her into a wannabe teenager, featuring tattoos, clubs, and almost Justin Bieber. Sometimes Lois doesn't just act like a bad wife, she acts like a teenager in crisis. In season 11, episode 6, her own birthday sends her spiraling into a full-on midlife meltdown that nearly ends with Justin freaking Bieber. It starts when Brian reminds everyone Lois's birthday is coming up, but she admits she'd rather skip it. Apparently, Brian organizes a surprise party because, you know, ignoring what women actually want always works out great.
Yay! Birthday!
Oh my God!
Happy birthday, Lois!
At first, the party seems to cheer her up, until Peter takes the mic. Instead of a sweet toast, he delivers a brutal poem about how old and saggy she's getting.
What were once two firm, impressive mountain peaks have become a barren, strip-mined, muddy landslide that droops ever downward.
The man turns into a roast master at his own wife's birthday, and Lois runs off humiliated. The next morning, Lois rolls up in a Jeep dressed like she's auditioning for a Nashville girl band. She's officially in crisis mode.
Come on, dudes! Who wants to hop in my wheels and head to the beach for some ultimate frisbee?
Yeah, Sheldon, I'm with you.
She doubles down with a lower back tattoo that Peter weirdly likes.
Wow, that is awesome, Lois. Your bum looks like an NBA guy's arm. Except it's not paying someone to install a PlayStation in a car.
Things escalate when Lois surprises Peter in the basement. Let's just say Meg isn't the only one who needs therapy after that scene.
Destroy me and this laundry.
Put Meg's bra in your mouth.
Oh my God, that's so disturbing.
I know, gross.
Then the two hit the town, partying in clubs and spray painting walls like they're in a Grand Theft Auto side mission. Lois is living her best midlife fantasy while Peter struggles to keep up. At a house party, Peter finally runs out of steam, but Lois wants to rage with her new young friends.
So if you don't want to run with the wild horses, then go back to the barn and go to bed.
But Lois!
Peter finally sees this has gone too far, especially when Lois starts fangirling over Justin Bieber like he's still topping the charts.
I'm gonna go get our old mom back. If I'm the one who made her feel this way, then I'm the one who's gotta fix it.
Lois manages to get backstage after the concert and starts throwing dated movie references at Bieber, who looks at her like she's someone's mom lost at Coachella. Just as she's about to cross the line, Peter bursts in, shutting down the madness before his wife commits a felony with a pop star. He tells Lois she doesn't need to act like a kid. He loves her exactly as she is. And if you thought Lois's midlife crisis was reckless, wait until you see her stealing sprees land the entire family in jail. Being a bad wife is one thing, but in season 4 episode 9, Lois graduates to full-blown criminal when a grocery trip turns into a kleptomaniac that ends with her in prison and her whole family on the run. It starts simple. She's short on money at the grocery store, so she quietly slips a ham into her purse. Very classy, but instead of stopping there, Lois gets addicted to the rush. Next thing you know, she's swiping clothes, jewelry, and basically treating every store in town like her personal Amazon wish list.
Oh my God, that was such a rush.
Brian catches her mid-heist while she's trying to steal a muffler. He begs her to stop before things spiral out of control, but it's too late. Joe eventually catches her red-handed, and instead of arresting her gently, he goes full RoboCop and tackles her like she's America's most wanted.
Sorry, Lois. Regulations. I can't give you any special treatment.
It's okay, Joe. I understand.
In court, Lois actually seems remorseful, and the judge looks ready to go easy on her, but then she can't resist. She steals the judge's gavel right in front of him. That little stunt gets her sentenced to 3 years in state prison. With Lois locked away, the Griffin household falls apart. Garbage everywhere, diapers rotting, Peter whining about so much duty in here.
Peter! There's so much duty in here. I can't take it anymore.
So the Griffin visit her in jail. The family looks hopeless until Peter hatches the dumbest brilliant idea ever, breaking Lois out.
Bye-bye. Take care now. Have a nice day.
They somehow pull it off, turning the Griffins into fugitives. They even rent a dingy apartment above a Chinese restaurant, trying to blend in. But Joe spots Peter on TV and swoops in with a helicopter like he's in Fast and Furious. The family scrambles into the sewers, where Lois finally has a moment of clarity. She decides she has to turn herself in so her family doesn't get dragged down with her. During the arrest, Joe almost falls to his death, but Lois saves him, proving she actually has a conscience somewhere under all that chaos. And in return, Joe just lets her go home because apparently attempted theft, resisting arrest, and breaking out of prison aren't crimes if you say sorry. And speaking of corruption, Lois doesn't just stop at shoplifting. She becomes the actual mayor and somehow makes things even worse. If you thought Lois was bad at home, wait until you give her political power. In season 5 episode 17, she runs for mayor, beats Adam West, and somehow manages to make the town even worse. It all begins on a family trip to Quagmire's cabin. The Griffins go for a swim in the lake, only to discover the water is basically toxic waste too. Their hair falls out instantly, which is probably the most realistic environmental commentary this show has ever done. They trace the pollution back to an oil refinery dumping sludge into the water.
This can't be legal.
What kind of world is this where you can't even trust the oil companies anymore?
Lois takes her concerns to Mayor Adam West, but he casually admits he allows the dumping in exchange for free oil. Furious, Lois decides she's going to run for mayor and clean things up. Cue the big campaign montage.
First order of business. Free honey for everyone. Yay, Mayor B, Mayor B, Mayor B. Ow!
She rallies the family, even though Chris is out asking voters for their votes inside their own house.
May we count on your vote next Tuesday?
Chris, this is our house.
Then what is for dinner?
Real political genius. Peter Robes and his buddies, and suddenly Joe is intimidating women into voting while Quagmire takes a, let's say, more hands-on approach with female voters.
Lois is gonna get the entire female vote because of me. I've been having with every woman in town non-stop for the past 2 days.
During the debate, Lois bombs at first with long-winded policy answers, while Adam West wins hearts just by saying random nonsense with confidence. But Brian steps in and teaches Lois the real trick. Keep answers short, dumb, and sprinkle in 9/11's references. Suddenly the crowd loves her.
Mrs. Griffin, what are your plans for cleaning up our environment?
9/11.
Lois wins the election and immediately takes action by cleaning up the lake. But then she announces a modest tax increase to pay for it. And instantly the crowd turns on her because in America nothing is scarier than taxes. To win them back, Lois goes back to her campaign strategy, buzzwords, and terrorism. She literally convinces people there are terrorists in the lake, so they'll throw money at her.
100,000?
I threw a 10. See that 10 there? I threw that.
With the lake cleaned up, Lois helps herself to a little taxpayer-funded purse shopping spree. Brian warns her this is corrupt, but she ignores him. When the oil company bribes her with a fancy code to reopen their toxic pipe, she caves. Standing at the pipe opening ceremony, Lois finally sees the damage it's doing and shuts it down. Feeling guilty, she resigns from office, only for Adam West to swoop right back in like none of this ever happened.
Hooray! I'm mayor again! Don't we need to have a whole new election?
So yeah, Lois went from angry citizen to corrupt mayor in record time. Honestly, I'm surprised she didn't use the power to just hypnotize the whole town like she did Peter. And if you thought Lois was heartless in politics, just wait until you see her literally ruin Christmas for her own family. Lois doesn't just ruin Peter's life. In season 19, episode 9, she goes full Grinch and almost destroys Christmas for the entire Griffin household. It starts with Lois doing what she always does, stressing out while trying to make the holidays perfect. She begs her family to pitch in with decorations and meaningful gifts, even handing out lists of tasks like she's Santa's middle manager. Naturally, everyone ignores her. When Lois realizes the family is completely useless, she says screw it and bails, telling everyone she's going on vacation.
This year, I'm going. You're all gonna see how hard it is to make Christmas happen around here without me.
But instead of sipping margaritas in Kanken, Lois rents a motel room across the street from her own house just to spy on her family. She's expecting them to fall apart without her, but to her horror, Peter actually manages to pull it together. Fueled by pure rage, he decorates the house better than she ever has.
And the white wire reindeers that look like ghosts.
Dad, look!
Watching her family laugh, decorate, and even roast Meg for Christmas dinner, Lois realizes they're having more fun without her. So she decides if she can't join the fun, she nuke it. At night, she sneaks into the house and goes full Grinch mode, cleaning the place out.
Santa Claus? Why are you taking our Christmas tree?
Why are you in pigtails in a little girl's nightgown?
The next morning, the Griffins wake up to a bare living room and assume they've been robbed. Lois strolls back in pretending to have just returned from Mexico, only to hear the family say they don't even care about the missing gifts because they still have the one thing that mattered.
Wow! What is it?
It's a bowl we all made for you in a pottery class.
And just like that, Lois's heart grows 3 sizes, which, let's be honest, should probably send her to a cardiologist. And if you thought ruining Christmas was rock bottom, Lois somehow finds a way to push Peter into drinking himself half to death. Lois doesn't just enable Peter's stupidity. In season 2, episode 20, she straight up fuels his alcoholism, all for the sake of winning a piano competition. The story kicks off when Peter goes on a binge drinking spree trying to find one of her golden Pawtucket Brewery tickets hidden in beer bottles.
7 in the morning.
Thanks for the update, Big Ben.
You're drunk again.
After downing hundreds of beers, he finally finds a winning ticket, only to trip and roll around on the ground for half a minute. Peter joins the factory tour with Brian, where they sample all kinds of weird experimental beers. One makes you float up toward an industrial fan until Peter saves the day with his. Fear farts. Truly heroic, but the tour ends badly when they're kicked out for breaking the rules.
Didn't you see that sign? You've sullied my factory and disobeyed my rules. I want you to leave immediately.
Oh, come on.
Back home, Peter drowns his sorrows the only way he knows how. Yes, more beer. That's when Lois discovers his secret talent. He's a piano prodigy, but only when he's blackout drunk.
Peter, that's incredible. I don't understand how you're like the idiot from Shine.
Lois immediately sees this as her chance to finally beat her rival, Alexis Radcliffe, in the piano competition. Does she worry about Peter's health? Nope, she just keeps the drinks coming, pumping him full of beer like he's a frat house keg. When they arrive at the competition, there's one huge problem. It's a dry county, no alcohol allowed. Lois panics, but instead of taking it as a sign, she drags Peter to a high school party just to score some booze. They narrowly escape a police raid, but Lois makes sure Peter's loaded up with enough beer to perform.
Here's a little something for good luck.
On stage, drunk Peter nails his recital, and Lois finally gets her precious win. But even as she holds the trophy, she admits she feels guilty for pushing her husband deeper into alcoholism. And as bad as enabling her husband's drinking is, Lois once took it a step further by locking Peter and his friends in the attic. If Lois's plan in season 14, episode 15 was be the worst wife possible, mission accomplished. She literally locks Peter and his buddies in the attic and nearly roasts them alive. It begins when Stewie sneaks into bed after a nightmare, leaving Peter desperate for some actual sleep.
Why don't you go up to the attic? I think there's even a futon up there.
Huh, that's a great idea.
Next thing you know, Peter's turned the dusty attic into the Pete Pad, a sweaty frat house for middle-aged dads.
Well, when I slept up here the other night, I realized what a great space it is. So I dragged up some stuff and turned it into a sweet hangout.
Peter invites Joe, Quagmire, and Cleveland up, and the place instantly turns into a party. They're having insulation fights, blasting music, even playing lawn darts indoors. At one point, the darts pierce through the ceiling into Lois's room.
Are you guys playing lawn darts in the attic again?
No. Yay! Lawn darts! Peter wins lawn darts!
When Peter refuses to shut it down, Lois snaps. She locks the attic door and cuts them off completely. No food, no water, no air circulation. The guys quickly start to lose it. They're sweaty, dehydrated, and borderline delirious. Quagmire even tries yelling for help through the vent. But of course, his plea goes straight into Meg's room, and Meg's checked out to care.
Help!
In case of a bear attack, you should A. lie down, B. run downhill, or C. stand your ground.
As the hours drag on, Peter realizes Lois might actually leave them up there to die. He tries begging her, but she ignores him, so he threatens the nuclear option.
Lois, so help me God, if you don't let us out right this second, I'm gonna take a dump on your wedding dress.
You wouldn't dare.
Finally, Lois cracks. She rips a towel bar out of the bathroom wall to pry open the attic door, only to find out she's too late. The guys already did the unthinkable. Her wedding dress is ruined. Honestly, I don't know what's worse here. And if you thought nearly killing Peter was bad, just wait until Lois tries to steal Meg's boyfriend out of pure jealousy. As if trying to kill Peter wasn't bad enough, in season 8, episode 13, Lois decides to sink even lower by going after Meg's boyfriend. Yeah, nothing says world's worst wife like stealing your daughter's man just because you're feeling old. It starts when Peter bluntly points out Lois's gray hairs. Instead of cheering her up, he basically makes her feel ancient. Enter Meg, who introduces her new boyfriend Anthony. Shockingly, he's normal.
He seems to be completely normal.
The Griffins are impressed, and Anthony even tells Lois she's pretty enough to be a movie star. Let's be honest, is straight up lying to a suburban mom in pearls.
Oh my goodness, well, I don't know about that.
Look, Anthony, trust me, she ain't what she used to be, all right?
But Lois takes the compliment way too seriously. Later, she admits to Bonnie she's attracted to Anthony, blaming Peter for making her feel insecure about aging.
It's healthy to explore your sexuality.
Oh, I don't know. It just feels like I'm lying to Peter.
Lois starts making moves. She slips Anthony Peters' work schedule with her menstrual cycle written on the same paper. Then she convinces Meg to leave the house so she can keep Anthony company. She corners Anthony in the living room and asks if her gray hairs bother him.
Do my gray hairs bother you?
What gray hairs?
Kiss me.
Unfortunately for her, Meg walks in right on cue and catches her mom swapping spit with her boyfriend. Later, Lois tries to apologize, but Meg roasts her, saying she's old, washed up, and couldn't steal Anthony even if she wanted to.
Look at you! You're old! You're nothing!
Peter finally admits that he insulted Lois about her age because he's insecure himself. Lois assures him she still loves him, and if you thought trying to hook up with Meg's boyfriend was bad, Lois goes even bigger. Most wives argue about finances or chores. In Season 5, Episode 13, Lois skips all that and cheats on Peter with former President Bill Clinton. It kicks off when Peter tangles with an octopus at the aquarium and suddenly decides he needs to get in shape. After one trip to the gym, he's strutting around like Mr. Universe, ripping laptops in half because nobody uses phone books anymore.
Look at him in that tank top.
But before he can injure himself again, the Griffins get a visit from the Secret Service. Clinton's motorcade got a flat tire right outside their house, and Peter, high on one day of fitness, insists on lifting the car himself. Naturally, he throws his back out.
Peter!
Oh my God! Call an ambulance!
Bedridden and humiliated, Peter gets a pep talk from Bill Clinton himself. Bill promises to show him life isn't over just because he's getting older. Next thing you know, Peter and Bill are hanging out like frat brothers.
Come on, Barbie, let's go party. Yeah.
At first, Lois is annoyed by Peter's newbie FF, but when she confronts Bill, things take a wild turn. Instead of convincing him to stay away, she ends up in bed with him.
You certainly are very persuasive.
So I've been told. Hey, you up for a little NAFTA?
Peter walks in on them and is crushed, though Bill is probably just glad someone finally called him back.
I mean, Peter, the man presided over the longest economic expansion in U.S. history, and...
But Lois takes things to a whole new level of twisted when she hooks up with Peter's sperm donor son. Yeah, you heard that right. Just when you think Lois couldn't get any worse, Season 15, Episode 20 proves otherwise. Because this time, she doesn't just cheat on Peter, she almost cheats on him with his own sperm donor son. It all starts when Lois and the girls are prank calling their husbands for fun. Donna pretends to be Michelle Obama for Cleveland, Bonnie serenades Joe with Britney Spears, and Lois decides to pretend she's Peter's long-lost daughter. Instead of laughing it off, Peter freaks out, hinting that there might actually be truth to it. Suspicious, Lois follows him and discovers that before their marriage, Peter donated sperm for cash.
Yeah, I'd almost forgotten about it, but then last night I get this call from a woman who says she's my daughter.
Not long after, dozens of Peter's offspring show up at the Griffin house, and every single one of them has that same Griffin chin.
Just because they're my kids and they all look like me doesn't mean we have anything in common.
Among the chaos is Larry, a younger, fitter version of Peter. At first, she brushes against him while cleaning. Then he offers to help.
Well, I'm guessing you look exactly the same too. You're in such great shape.
Wow, I do have tiny blue weights in my garage.
And before long, they're sharing ice cream at the park like it's a first date. When Lois spills some on herself, Larry wipes it off and goes in for a kiss, and she lets him. Lois admits she was wrong, blaming her insecurities about Peter treating her like she's old. Peter promises to start treating her better, though let's be real, it's Peter Griffin. He'll forget that promise by next episode. I'll leave it here, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, or Lois will cheat with you. Bye.